Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Entrepreneur Interview Series, presented by the Undergraduate Entrepreneurship Association at Carnegie Mellon University. I am Nix Pawlowski, and today I am joined digitally by Aashir Sinha of Aashirwadh Entertainment. Aashirwadh Entertainment is a startup which began as a software provider developing apps, but has now expanded into a variety of entertainment ventures. Aashir, it's a pleasure to speak to you today. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Aashir Sinha. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aashirwadh Entertainment. I'm very pleased to be on this interview. Very excited. I've finally have an opportunity to be in front of the camera talking about my startup. It's actually a dream for me. So let's take it away.
Sure, can you please explain exactly what Aashirwadh Entertainment does?
Okay, so Aashirwadh Entertainment is actually so there's a long journey with the startup actually. So I began working. It began as an app company which I started when I was about 15 in high school. So back then I was just making apps to allow people to follow the sport of cricket or the Bollywood industry. So it was basically just a platform for people to follow their favorite cricket players or their favorite Bollywood stars. But I recently ventured into the acting industry myself, and I really enjoy creating digital content which entertains people, like short video, short films. And so now I've begun creating short videos and short films. And so now Aashirwadh Entertainment is not only building off the apps that we were making, but now we're also producing digital content and hopefully more to come.
Can you explain, please, where the name Aashirwadh Entertainment comes from?
So the name Aashirwadh Entertainment comes from our founder's name. So my name is Aashir, and the co-founder's her last name is Wadhwani. The first four letters are WADH, and so combining those two, and also Aashirwad is actually a Hindi word which means blessing, and so I just thought it was a lucky name. It sounded nice, and having the opportunity to entertain people in itself is a blessing for us, and hopefully for the people watching.
That's beautiful. Nice. And so you originally had two different startups, and then you're in the process of merging those into one right now. What's that process like for you?
So it's actually a very difficult process, and even you can probably tell in the interview that I'm having a lot of difficulty, explaining some of it, or like I'm still trying to understand how I can all put it into one and explain it to someone like you. So in terms of that process, it's somewhat difficult to explain it. I have to change my LinkedIn profile, change our website, but at the same time, I think it feels very good because when you have two ideas that you really love and you can put it all into one and get people support, I think it's just a miracle. Like you just feel so good when you're just working on it.
And you've sort of got this broad array of things you're working on, so it's difficult for you to categorize what exactly you do other than within entertainment. What are all of these different things that you're juggling at the same time?
So one thing which I've been doing since I was about 15 is so there's an app I've made which is called the Heroes of Cricket. So basically what's unique about the Heroes of Cricket is that it allows you to follow every single individual cricket player, and you can get specific content on each cricket player. So if I wanted to follow one player, for example, I could get every video on that one player, every social media post on that one player, every news article on that one player. I can also chat with other fans of that one player. And the way we get all this content is by aggregating it from different places on the web. So if someone posts a YouTube video, for example, on a cricket player, it would come onto the app. Or if someone posts a social media post, it would automatically come onto the app through content aggregation. So that's one thing we do. Now, another thing we do is we also make apps for celebrities for them to engage their fan base and monetize their own brand. So it's kind of using a similar concept which content aggregation. So a celebrity would want an app to market to his or her fans, and basically on that app you could get all the latest content related to one celebrity, which is getting aggregated from a variety of different sources. And there are a lot of options for celebrities to, challenge their fans, entertain them, go live. There are all kinds of games. So that's another thing we do. Now, another thing we've recently begun doing, which is part of the Aashirwadh Entertainment and the digital content side, is I'm very interested in acting. I love acting. It's something I'm very passionate about. So now I've actually begun. I'm using this as an opportunity to actually build up my acting skills as well. So another thing we're doing now is producing digital content like short videos, short films, web series, and we're producing this aimed towards Indian audiences. So it's in both in English and in Hindi, and it's getting uploaded on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and hopefully one day Amazon Prime or Netflix. So yeah, that's mostly what we do. It's pretty confusing, but at the end of the day, all of it's entertainment related because that's our main goal, is to entertain people.
You already mentioned Bollywood and cricket. Now, you grew up in India, but is there any other reason why your businesses have been so focused on Indian culture?
Well, actually, that's a pretty interesting question. So the reason I've chosen that is because Bollywood and cricket are very large audiences. In fact, cricket's followed not only in India but across all the Commonwealth countries. So it's actually the second most popular sport in the world after association football, and so it's a very large audience. And also Bollywood as well. I think it's as large as Hollywood. I'm not quite sure. I have to check the statistics on it. But the reason I chose that audience is because I personally I've and really like my country. You know, I really vibe with the values, and I find it much easier to relate to a lot of the people there. And I also want to see India as a country develop economically and culturally over the next few years. And I think there's a lot of potential. And so I want to be part of that growth in India and helping India as a culture find itself.
So you're primarily creating content now rather than producing apps, which was your old business.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm still working on like two apps right now, but the main focus is on content.
And are you often trying to show some sarcasm or irony or poke fun at social values in these videos?
I mean, yeah, obviously you have to use that. Definitely you have to use a good amount of sarcasm and irony and all of these things into comedic videos. And I'm really trying to, make fun of certain societies or certain types of people or how they behave. Because I think in a lot of ways that's a wake up call for them to realize like, how sometimes crazy they can behave. And also people just enjoy watching it because they can find it relatable and entertaining.
So that's maybe what a lot of people are looking for now, is short, funny videos that in truth really have some meaning behind them.
Exactly, man. That's exactly the way.
I think sometimes there's just so much going on, so much that's available to all of us at any given points in time, that you can't really capture our attentions for very long.
Well, I think as a country, I mean, not a country, as the world itself, people these days, especially young kids like us, we have so many things going on in this world. There's so much stuff on social media, so many distractions, so many different emotions going through our head. Our minds are so polluted that we don't have that ability to sit down and watch something that's like literally more than 1 or 2 minutes. And so I think, yes, people are going to have shorter attention spans now with all the short videos. People are going to be more reactive to things in general. But that's the reality of the world we're living in right now. And so we can't really do much about it. You just have to create content that's very short and entertaining.
How short can our attention spans for content really become? Like, what's this situation look like in 30 years?
I think it's already become like 10 to 15 seconds, because if you think about TikTok, there's this thing called the watch time, which is basically tells you how many seconds someone watched the video without swiping to watch another video. And so it's already become as short as 10 seconds. So honestly, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But I think maybe people's attention span will go back up, but that will probably change as virtual reality and all these things come into play.
You think maybe we just need more compelling types of content in order to expand our attention?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do need more compelling types of content. I think TikTok also, there's a lot of junk content, so that's why people swipe up, means to watch other videos. But I do still think that people have a difficulty watching stuff that's, long. Like every film that's being produced right now is shorter. Every web series is producing shorter episodes and fewer episodes, because people want a story to watch quick. They don't want to watch a 30 episode show. They want to watch a 5 episode show that is only 10 minutes each.
What sort of implications do you think this short attention span has on maybe the news and media, how people get their information about the world around them?
I think it leads to more fake news and more inaccurate information in general, like more misconstrued information. Because when people don't have the ability to sit down and listen and actually understand the situation, they'll usually get they'll see something and they'll like hear like 5% of it, and then they'll say, okay, I get it now, and then it's completely wrong. And so it leads to a greater spread of propaganda, and I think that's a very bad thing.
So there's a lot of misinformation you think results from people's poor attention spans and how little detail they're going into whenever they're checking for the facts on important global events.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a huge problem, especially right now when people are like, "Oh, I'm so stressed about my online exam," and then there's like hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and they're like exaggerate that number when they call their friend, and then their friend's like, "Oh, those many people died," and then it's like exaggerated, so it's leads to a lot of misinformation. And so that's why I, as an entertainer, want to create content, that really like is entertaining, but also at the same time, people really learn some life lessons from it. People really learn and understand their position in this world, what their duty is, what they're obligated to do, and also just understand what's actually happening as opposed to all the fake information that's getting spread. So I think that's another reason why people need to actually start entertaining people and going and creating content, because there's so much misinformation that's being spread that someone needs to go and stop it. And I'm not saying I'm the one, but I at least want to try.
So Aashir, you're actually a member of the exec board of the Undergraduate Entrepreneurship Association, of course. How rewarding has that experience been, and what sort of support have you seen from the UEA in general?
I think it's actually a very rewarding experience to be a member of the executive board, because I think you get to meet such interesting, talented people, and you also get the opportunity to have access to so many endless resources across the CMU community and this world. And so I think it's a very rewarding experience, because I've already learned so much from just the conversations I've had around my peers in the sports center with faculty, with older students. I think it's a very rewarding experience. I would definitely recommend joining the board, or at least joining some form of group that's related to entrepreneurship on campus, even if you're not into it, because I think you can open up so many opportunities. And even me, like, let's say I can consider myself as an actor also. And I think even that, being around all these entrepreneurial people, just makes you better in any such profession that you want to pursue.
Right, a large theme that's arisen in this interview and some of the past interviews is really the casual conversations and the information conveyed in those conversations inside of the sports center physically or among members of the UEA.
Yeah, and actually, I'd like to add that I only got the idea for Aashirwadh Entertainment in the sports center itself, not from a member of the sports, but just interacting with people. I think interacting with people opens up so many ideas in your mind. It brings you different perspectives, and I think that's one of the major disadvantages of staying in quarantine and isolation, because you don't get that spark which leads to creativity, new ideas. And so that's actually something that's kind of sad for a lot of us. But once things reopen up, I'm very excited to go back to the sports, just casually interact with people and see what happens.
And finally, Aashir, what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs at CMU?
So I think there's a lot of advice I actually have, but to keep it simple, I think the main thing is you should just trust yourself. You should stay motivated, and you should always explore different ideas, perspectives, and opportunities. Because ultimately, being an entrepreneur, you have to innovate and be creative. And the only way you can gain more creativity is by just trying out different things. And you've already failed by not trying. So you should always try something and fail rather than just ignoring it and putting it aside. Okay.
Well, thank you, Aashir. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today, and I hope Aashirwadh sees success in the future.
Thank you so much for the call. It was very fun doing this, actually. I actually haven't thought so deeply about some of these issues, but now you brought that to my attention. So it was a great opportunity. In fact, this has actually led me to think of more ideas, because this call itself opened up a lot of new perspectives for me. And I just really enjoyed this call. Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Hey, see you later.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Entrepreneur Interview Series, presented by the Undergraduate Entrepreneurship Association at Carnegie Mellon University. That was Aashir Sinha of Aashirwadh Entertainment. You can find out more about Aashirwadh and view their content on Instagram, and you can find their Instagram page in the comments of this video. For the entire CMU UEA, I am Nix Pawlowski, wishing you good luck in all your future ventures. Thank you.